What is happening? Welcome to the Plus Pitch Podcast, more pitching podcast from pitcherlist.com. My name is Nick Pollack. Today is July 23rd, and yes, we are going to talk about baseball. I had to do a very special SP roundup today in honor of Ozzy Osbourne. If you don't know, just go read the SP roundup. I led with Christopher Sanchez, called him the Crizzard of Oz, after the Blizzard of Oz album from Ozzy Osbourne. And if you notice all the weird capitalizations, those are song titles from Ozzy Osbourne's career. So go check that out. And also, of course, check out the fact that Christopher Sanchez had a complete game, 1 earned run, 4 hits, 0 walks, 12 strikeouts. Oh my gosh, this was hosting the Red Sox in Philadelphia. Honestly, he was the guy you know. Lots of called strikes in the sinker, 16 of them. Lots of whiffs on the changeup. He didn't allow as many hits as he normally does on the sinker, and the slider actually helped out too. It's great. It's so interesting that Christopher Sanchez had this injury scare, and it was nothing, and it has been nothing since. It's only been just more of the same. It's pretty fantastic. So injuries are weird is the moral of the story. Matthew Boyd has also been just phenomenal this year. 7 innings, 0 runs, 4 hits, 1 walk, and 6 Ks. It's the same thing of fastballs and changeups. Fastballs upstairs not getting destroyed. Changeups are doing great stuff. Sliders are working against lefties. It's all cool. He also has some curveballs for called strike, which is nice. Eduardo Rodriguez, speaking of nice, against the Astros. Oh my gosh, 6.1 innings of 0 runs, 6 hits, 3 walks in, 3 strikeouts. He did not throw a single changeup inside the zone. Yeah, he earned about a 50% chase rate on it, which is nice, which means it was about like a 40% strike rate. But that works, because then you can set up the cutter inside and the sinker as a surprise pitch inside and the changeup above, the four-seamer above the changeup. That's how he takes down right-handers. That's cool. Now he gets Detroit next in Detroit, and then he gets Sacraverde. I don't want to deal with either of those two, so no thank you, Eduardo Rodriguez. It's been nice. Logan Gilbert against the Brewers, 6.1 innings of 0 runs, 2 hits, 0 walks, and 10 strikeouts. I'm giving him the ace is going to ace tag because we know. 15 whiffs here, 38% CSW. He only had 1 whiff on the four-seamer, though. It's a flat one with such good extension. He should be getting more whiffs on this, and he doesn't because he doesn't throw it upstairs. Okay. Also, I talked to Chris Towers on the Pitcherlist Discord. If you don't know, Chris Towers is in there and just hanging out. If you want to hang out with him from CBS, you should join our Discord. Go to pitcherlist.com/premium and use promo code podcast to get 15% off PL Pro yearly, where you will get access to that Discord and have free website and all the incredible apps that we have in our daily projections and so much more. My sit and start grid for 2 weeks, putting pitchers into tiers. It's incredible. Anyway, he was talking about how good Logan Gilbert's splitter is in the context of xwOBA. Now, I have a big gripe, as you guys know. It's my endless war against utilizing batted ball metrics to justify pitch types. That is results, batted ball results. Well, think about it this way. Logan Gilbert does not throw a splitter in 3-ball counts. He just doesn't do that. He also doesn't throw the pitch in the zone. It has like a 5th percentile zone rate at 22%. So that means 70% of these are out of the zone. So if they do make contact, it's going to be weak contact, and then it's going to be a very low xwOBA. And also, he throws it most of the time in a 2-strike count, which means it also could result in a strikeout when it's not in play. So think about that in the context of it. You get all these strikeouts, you get no walks, and you get contact only when it's weak. I mean, it's again 20% zone rate, but that's why you see a lot of these secondaries have these absurd xwOBAs, and especially compared to fastballs, because fastballs have to be thrown for strikes and in the zone. So understand that just because a pitch is getting a certain result does not mean that in a vacuum he can just throw that thing and that thing is good on its own. It's how they're utilized. Every pitcher needs pitches to get to 2 strikes, and they also need pitches to avoid walking batters, right? It's not the whole story. But he said, great, what about 2 strikes? And Logan Gilbert's splitter is phenomenal because it has, I believe, the 5th best, maybe it's like the 9th best put away rate in the majors. It's like a 30% put away rate on the splitter. So when he does throw it in a 2-strike count, it strikes him out 30% of the time, which is fantastic. We normally see like an average of like 22% or something like that. So Chris Towers is right. Logan Gilbert's player is amazing, but understand that there are certain metrics that are good for certain things to tell the story that you are trying to tell. And I think Chris certainly understands that now. And not to mention, like, it is a really good expo, but like, sure, that is still fine. Landon Roop against Atlanta got the win. He's great. 5 innings, 0 runs, 4 hits, 1 walk, and 6 towers. 6 towers. 6 strikeouts. You know, I still feel that Chris Towers, he's one of my good friends in this industry. I'm actually going to see him today at the Met game. Come on by. Chris Towers should have a podcast talking about his music preferences and his favorite albums, and he should call it Towers Records, because it's also Towers Records if you read it. I will go to my grave wishing he would do that. I would listen to that one. All right. Landon Roop is a Holly. And he did see some cutters to lefties, 7 over 8 strikes on that, which is good, but he did allow some hits on it and wasn't that great. I like the fact that he's trying to use it while the curveball is good. The changeup is actually where it's supposed to be. The sinker's great. Like, the whole package is working. And also the cutter can be better, right? So I'm really happy with this. Curveball's looking more effective. It's great. Keep going with Landon Root. Jacob Mizorowski against the Mariners. Well, the Brewers aren't really going with him because it's only 3.2 innings. About 0 runs, 3 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. He still had 16 whiffs in 64 pitches. The Brewers are going to be limiting him a little bit as they want to make sure that he is ready for the playoffs, assuming that the Brewers get there. And it's going to be frustrating. What I will say is I'm still going to hold on to Mizorowski. Why? Because you're going to get strikeouts. It should be good ratios. And we don't know the starts that it's going to be limited. It might be every other. It might be a lot now and then not later. I don't know. But I don't think he hurts you enough in that roster spot to turn down when it will be a larger volume. Like, it's not going to be 60 pitches every start now, in all likelihood, right? So keep that in mind with Mizorowski. I know how frustrating it is. I'm going to have to lower him on the list, and I hate that. I hate this whole thing about volume. It's one of my least favorite things of the list. In general, just with rankings, expecting volume based on limitations. I hate it because it changes all the time and you can't really logically figure that one out. Framber Valdez against Arizona got the win. 7 innings, 1 earned run, 7 hits, 1 walk, and 4 Ks. Ace is going to ace. Everything is cool here. The curveball actually was off. Just say everything's cool here. What is cool is that the changeup stepped up. And that was pretty awesome. Framber Valdez, I've been completely fine with you. It's wild. I haven't had this for a full season yet. It's great. Jacob deGrom had 28 whiffs for a Gallows pull. Yep. This was away from Sacraverde for the Athletics, so they were much worse there. He got the win, of course. Well, actually, you don't know. It's deGrom. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts. Only 9 strikeouts on those 28 whiffs. A little annoying. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see peak deGrom once again. 40% CSW too. Whew, oh my gosh. Edward Cabrera against the Padres got the win. 5.2 innings and 1 earned run, 5 hits, 0 walks, and 6 strikeouts. So I love the fact that Edward Cabrera threw 86 pitches. I was really worried that with the whole fatigue thing with his elbow that they would be limiting him more. But no, the changeup and slider were not as good as we've seen. Fewer strikes than expected. However, the curve and sinker were good. And only 6 four-seamers, which is what we want to see. So this is good with Edward Cabrera. The changeup should be a better pitch in the future. And yeah, this is cool. JT Ginn against the Rangers. 5 innings, 1 earned run, 5 hits, 1 walk, and 2 Ks in just 58 pitches. He commanded really, really well, save for, I think, 5 cutters that were just way too high. But the other ones were perfectly up and in to lefties. Oh, I loved it. The sinker was away to lefties. The slider was down and away to righties. The sinker was generally inside to righties. This is actually what we want from JT Ginn. Now, it wasn't 95. We didn't see a ton of whiffs. 6 of them over 58 is not really pushing the needle much. But I'm curious to see what happens here with JT Ginn if he can be this efficient with his pitches. Really, honestly, just have this command, which would lead to that efficiency. Something happened yesterday that is absolutely shocking. I not only was the result shocking, but who it was. One of the greatest gold stars I've ever given out. I'm going to tell you who that is after this break. I can't believe this. The Chicago Cubs in Wrigley hosted the Royals. And who was on the bump against them. Rich Hill at 45 years old. He allowed 3 runs, but 2 were unearned. So it was 5 innings, 1 earned run, 6 hits, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. Yes. How am I supposed to butter my bread with this? You were expecting to just eat the bread without that butter. Okay. It was just like, whoa, there's some bread here. That's cool. I'll just eat some of that. I can't believe that Rich Hill can do this at 45. We saw the 2-plane curveball that he's always had, 17 inches of horizontal, or 16 with 10 inches of drop. Like, it's insane. And he just went dancing with a disco with that 89 mile per hour fastball that I guess was good enough. Yeah, sure, it was 3 runs on the board. Ultimately, there were 2 fielders' choices that were just badly handled in one inning that led to 2 of those runs. But oh my gosh, it's so cool. You don't want to do this, but it's just so cool. That's all. All right, Joey Cantillo against the Orioles, 5 innings, 1 run, 2 hits, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts. He got the win. He got us a streaming victory against Baltimore. 14 whiffs, 37% CSW. You'd love to see that. The changeup is looking great. He got it down. And yes, it wasn't as many strikes as we normally get, but it was down, and that's great. The 4-seamer was delicately spotted upstairs or down. I mean, especially the lefties. It was up and then down and away. He did not go in between. It was great. And then you also have the curve going 8 for 27 called strikes. So Joey Cantillo in this rotation spot, because Luis Ortiz he's probably not going to pitch again this year, guys. Let's be honest. Yeah, he's taking advantage of this, Joey Cantillo. I'm rolling with this against Kansas City next. He has an amazing extension. He has the changeup that works. He has good command now. I am very much in on that. Yoshinobu Yamamoto against the Twins, 5 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. He actually had 7 of them on his 4-seamer, which is pretty cool. But the splitter was not putting away batters, just 1 on that one. I wish he would go upstairs, though. He did a little bit, but Yamamoto, man, like, I feel like what's going to happen is 3 years or so, when things are getting a little bit worse, he has to find another way. And it's going to be Yamamoto finally going upstairs with this heater, right? It's like, okay, well, I need to figure something out. So I did that. Just do it now. Brad Lord against the Reds. He went down the Reds carpet and he went 4 innings and 1 run. That's awesome. I'm happy for him. He throws 95, 96 with a sinker at 95 that has 19 inches of horizontal, but then the slider is a gyro 0-0 slider. And to be a sinker slider guy, you really want it to be more horizontal. You don't really want it to be that middle one. It's not really very good. It's also terrible extension. 5.6 feet is like 3rd percentile, something like that. It's Luis Castillo levels of extension. So very bad. I'm not interested in Brad Lord. He's also a righty, not a lefty, which I think is negative points here when you are this simple in what you do. Frankie Montas against the Angels got a win, 5.2 innings of 200 runs. We will take that all day to the bank. 8 hits, 2 walks. Yeah, sure. 6 Ks. Fine. It was against the Angels. And I got to say, I was actually surprised at his command to right-handers of sinkers getting inside to right-handers and sliders down and away. Though there was one to Jorge Soler that was a little bit too high, and bam, he obliterated that thing. Oh my gosh. But he's a Toby. He's going to be singled out a little bit more than others. You're hoping you get a win and hopefully underneath 300 runs. There you go. You are likely to get a higher quality start chance than just your random guy off the waiver wire, but he hasn't been quite as efficient to get that 6th frame in full. This is a Philly here, 5.2, case in point. Bradley Blaylock almost got the gold star because it was 5.1 innings of 200 runs in cores against the Cardinals for a win. Wow. Did not get a strikeout. 9 base runners, 0 strikeouts. Keep that in mind. I mean, you don't call yourself Cradley Claylock. It's BB. So he has a walk. All right, Cam Schlittler against the Jays, 5 innings, 200 runs, 7 hits, 3 walks, and 3 Ks. He went 90 pitches. And also, it was 97.7 on his fastball. I expected a bigger decline, not just because of the bump from the debut that would be closer to 98, but because he had arm soreness in that first one. I thought they would baby him. I thought that he would not be as hard, but no, he did that. It's a very good 4-seamer. The thing is, the Jays fouled it off a lot, and they were looking up on everything. The slider, the sweeper, the curve, all of it was upstairs. Cam, you got to get those low and the 4-seamer up. It's a very simple thing. You might have heard of it. It's called the Blake Snell Blueprint. I really dig him, though. And I got to say, the Yankees are in this interesting situation where they could skip Marcus Stroman. They could just take advantage of the off day and just say, Stroman, yeah, no, never mind. You're out of the rotation. We want Luis Heel in, or we just put in Cam there, and then Luis Heel comes in after, or they go and get a starter that fills in for that one. I don't know. There are many scenarios where Cam is in the rotation, and there's, look, if they want Heel and Stroman and or whoever else they trade for, then fine, Cam doesn't. But how can you not have Cam? And there's also Will Warren, I didn't even mention inside the roundup. Will Warren is getting up there in his innings. He hasn't looked as good. I got to think that Cam has to be in this rotation. I want him on my teams. I really do think that Cam is a fantastic arm. I also really want him for 2026. Oh my gosh. I mean, he's going to have his volume now. He's just going to be a starter for the Yankees next year. It's going to be great. Drew Rasmussen against the White Sox. 4 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. Yes, that 4th inning, he had 32 pitches. No. Entering that inning, he had 43. Through 3 innings, he was going to be fine through 5, and then he had to do 32, so he had 75 pitches, and that was it. You should see 5 innings typically from Drew Rasmussen, right? Because he is going to be around the 70 to 80 pitch count. So we know that he's more efficient than that. It's a rough one. I understand I have to lower him because there is this floor that is without the ceiling of more than 5, really. Yeah, it's annoying because Drew Rasmussen's still very good. It's just he's limited. Mitch Keller against the Tigers got the win. It was a bit of a dusty donut because it was a very poor quality start, but you did get that quality start. You did get that win. He's been a Vargas rule. If you want to go with it, fine. He throws 27% sliders, a slider and sweeper, and 48% of these dead zone 4-seamers. I still don't like it, but he does go to San Francisco next. So if you want to roll with that, fine, go ahead. Stephen Pollack is nothing for you to report on, and that is me talking to me. You don't want to do that. It was 300 runs in 5.2 innings against the Marlins, and honestly, it could have been worse. He left the game bases loaded in the 6th. Unfortunately, the bullpen saved him, so it wasn't 5.2 innings of 6 earned runs. Davis Martin came back against the Rays, got the loss, 5 innings, 300 runs, 3 hits, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. He's not really doing anything for you to pay attention at the moment. I'll let you know when there is. Kyle Hendricks, yeah, he didn't do well against the Mets because it's Kyle Hendricks, and it's against the Mets. Brandon Young against the Guardians. I can squint and see how this does work, but it wasn't really all clicking here against the Guardians. 4.1 innings of 300 runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, and 3 Ks. He did have 25% splitters, which is kind of interesting against the exclusive lefty lineup that is with the Cleveland Guardians. It was generally good, but just 56% strikes. So he had to throw more fastballs inside the zone than he kind of wanted to. He wants to really go more elevated with it. The guys were really excited for it, and they were able to hit it. But I can see how that all works, especially it's a decent curve. We'll see how this plays out, but and right now is not something that you want to chase. Sammy Woods Richardson might be out of the rotation for the Twins. I think it should be Woods Richardson out, not David Festa. Also, if they do happen to trade Joe Ryan, there you go. There's your spot. There is an option left with Sammy Woods Richardson. I think that they should be doing that instead of David Festa. Either way, you don't want to do Sammy Woods Richardson. Max Scherzer is kind of interesting. 5 innings, 400 runs, 5 hits, 1 walk, and 4 Ks. He allowed a 3-run shot in the first inning to Jazz Chisholm, and then a solo shot to Cody Bellinger in the 5th. And that was all the damage. The fastball is getting success inside the zone. The cutter is looking good. Changeup feels not right there, but the curveball is also getting called strikes. I think he's actually kind of cool. Maybe against the Tigers, I don't know, but definitely the Royals in Toronto after. Casey Mize did not look good against the Pirates. He threw a lot of fastball down the middle, a lot of everything down the middle. Split change, 2 splitter, really. Not split change, that's Paddock. 4 innings, 400 runs, 10 hits, 1 walk in, 5 Ks. He was singled out. No home runs here. And now it's the Jays and then the Phillies and the Angels. You can move on from Casey Mize. This stinks. But yeah, I think it's kind of time. And it's annoying because I kind of elevated him 1 tier than I should have. Casey Mize, sorry, it's not it. Richard Fitz, also not it, unfortunately. Not 97 miles per hour, but 95.4. It was 3.1 innings of 400 runs, 6 hits, 0 walks, and 4 Ks. But the thing is, I don't think his command is that bad. And he did have some sliders that got walloped. Fine. I think the pitch was worse against right-handers, but the 2 bad sliders were against lefties. Look, I think he actually has enough in the tank here. It's just, I want the velocity. I want the security in the rotation, which is also another thing because he's the clear number 5 right now in Boston, and who knows what happens at the deadline. So Richard Fitz is not someone I need to hold on to right now. I wonder if he's going to get that twin start next Monday. And that's even a start where it could work. And I think he's better than this one, but I don't feel like I need to be in on that. Chase Burns against the Nationals was so good. And then all of a sudden, the fifth and sixth, he allowed 5 earned runs. 4 earned runs, and with 1 in the fourth. So 5.2 innings, 5 earned runs, 7 hits, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts. He was Blake Snell blueprint. 2 over 46 whiffs on the four seamers. Not that surprising because it is a very steep angle. It is expected movement. So he's gonna have to figure that out. But the slider is still filthy. The changeup was actually thrown 13 times to lefties. I didn't really see that come into play massively in the past, and even had a pair of strikeouts. I hope that develops more to make it so that that fastball can be more of a surprise pitch. You can actually maybe pitch backwards a little bit with sliders and changeups, and then have the fastball as a surprising velocity that they can't catch up to anymore. So I'm still sticking with Chase Burns. It's clear, 10 strikeouts. And he also had to face a lot of lefties, and he should be better against righties. And then Davis Daniel and Eric Fede, they both were bad because, yeah, you shouldn't be starting those guys. Davis Daniel, though, might be in the rotation for a little bit, considering that Atlanta might trade away their starters. They don't really have much depth. So maybe they get like a really cheap starter like Eric Fede or something like that. I don't know. Either way, you don't really want to go with Davis Daniel or Eric Fede. All right, that is it for today. Sorry for the interruption in the middle, but my name is Nick Pollack, and may your BABIPs be low and your strikeouts high.